This video online for others to see as I stream my ass off. Practice my butt a little bit. There we go. Boom. Okay, so here's your music. Woot! Look at all this beautiful scale work here. Let me turn down the brightness just a little bit. Great. Hey everybody, good morning. It's time for our workout. Today we're going to go further with G major. We're going to try to go a little faster. We're going to try to solidify our technique and really just work the speed bag a little bit. G major is not a terribly difficult scale. So we're going to look at some velocity today. But we're going to get there the same way that we always get there. Let me see if I can, it's a little dark in here. I'm going to brighten it up. There we go, just slightly. Okay. So, I've done my long tones. I've got my reed ready to go. My breathing is pretty good. So let's do some technical work. Reed's a little bright. I'm not going to concern myself with that too much. I'm not in a performance situation. It vibrates pretty well and has good resistance. So I'm going to use it. So we're going to start out by playing modes. 2 octaves on every scale degree up and down in G major, starting on low E. 1 sharp throughout. Metronome on 80, subdivision on. So this is modes in G major or E natural minor. Yeah, and while I turn my microphone level down because I'm a little hot here, let me talk about what I'm trying to do. I'm really trying to be as even and as beautiful as possible. Here, I'm going to take the microphone level down just a little bit. That's not too bad. Okay. Good. And I am back. I'm really looking for just the most even technique and listening for how beautiful my sound is going up and down the instrument. That happens through my good breath, through sustained legato thought. Okay? Just letting my fingers do the walking. Next scale degree is A. Very happily take an extra rep or start a rep over if it's not feeling great. I want it to feel good from the beginning. B. that's that's really just telling your body and your hands and your mind, hey, this is what we're doing right now. Remember this? Remember how this feels? And my body's like, what? Because I am old. And my body needs to be reminded all the time. Now we're going to go straight into this bad boy. This is just our regular scale. Okay? Going to try to get 4 iterations of it per breath. Move the subdivision metronome to 100. Keep the subdivision on. One. Let me turn off my, I'm just going to give myself airplane mode. Okay, same thing. Again, looking for ease and evenness because we're going to take this scale pretty fast today. So right now in the basic, more controlled parts of it, I'm really looking for evenness. I'm being a complete freak about myself to be just try to be as even as possible. Listen to the beauty of the sound, not about the speed or the technique. Giving myself that extra rep because I had that weird crack coming down over the top. It's fine. I don't really give a shit. This is what I'm here for, to iron these things out here in my room. 120. Yeah, really all I'm trying to do is pick up my fingers and put them down in just the most orderly fashion. Okay? And just trying to be beautiful throughout. This is a phrase. It's not just a technical exercise. All right, now we're going to go 20 clicks up to 140. Same thing, extrapolate the idea, trying to keep it super easy. Tempo will come as long as the way that you're going about this is right. 1, 2, 1, 2. hands feel a little kind of sticky today. They don't feel like they want to be too fleet. So I'm having to work a little bit today to make them do what I want. Some days you feel better and it just feels like everything kind of falls into place. Some days feel a little bit more effortful. That's today, I guess. You know what I use a lot? Not a lot, but occasionally is this thing. This is made by, I think, a company called Yamana. I think they make a lot of self-massage things. And what this is actually, this is a finger massager. And it looks a little weird, but it actually, like if you just take these two opposing sides and just kind of like put the roller over your muscles, oh man, it feels unbelievable, actually. There are a couple of different things that I use for a finger massage. I know it looks goofy, but man, does it work. And the other thing that I use was suggested to me by Adam Abeshouse, who's my recording engineer, who is a genius. He's won several Grammys, won the European equivalent, records with everyone. Josh Bell, Simone Dinnerstein, everyone, really. He's recorded with everyone. This is the other thing. This is right here. It's another Yamana thing. It's another finger massage. It's like I think it's called an acupressure ring. You just take this and you just kind of run it, same thing, up and down your finger. It's got these little, let's see if I can, these teeny tiny little points on it. Okay, and they're not at all sharp. This is made out of plastic. It's not a, but if I run it over my hands a little bit, just sort of up and down my fingers, it makes me feel like I've warmed up differently. So let's see if any of that sort of like manipulation makes my hands feel any better. All right. Let's test it out at our goal today, which is 160, which is fairly quick, twice as fast as we started. Just trying to keep it even and easy. See if we can do the same thing at 160 as we did at 100. 1, 2. So that's plenty fast, right? But all I'm really worried about is how even it is. So while the tempo is quite elevated, what I'm listening for is, does every single note speak exactly where it's supposed to? And I think it kind of does. So the goal is not naked speed. That's fine. That speed is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. But what I'm more happy with is the fact that every note speaks up and down the scale. You don't hear me skip any notes. You don't hear like a bunch of sort of desperately fast things. You're looking for absolute control over your technique, which is super hard. Here we go. So we're back to this. We're down to the broken chord here. I'm going to leave this first note out because I don't give a shit. Okay, and first I'm going to do without any articulation. At 100 with the metronome pulsing the subdivision. Okay, I'm really going to try to get this feeling of going. Towards the next note. Not ta-da-da-da-ta-da-da-da-ta-da. That does not lead to evenness. It leads to desperation. Here we go. 1, 2. Mm, mm. Let me give you 3 things about fingerings in this before I go a little faster. 1, always with the right pinky. I'm not even concerned about putting my left pinky in. Why do I do that? Well, a couple of reasons. 1, I try to keep everything in the same hand if possible. I've worked a lot to try to streamline my options in my technique. If you start to add the left pinky instead of the right, then you're starting to cross information, right? The right side of your brain controls your left hand. I'm opposite to you, but imagine that I'm doing this correctly for myself. And the left side of my brain controls my right side of my hand. And there's some degree of communication that has to go back and forth between those hemispheres of your brain, but not if you keep everything in the same hand, okay? It's microscopically different, but it makes a big difference. The second thing is, high B is this for me. I mean, high G, just an overblown B. Works perfectly. Keep the E flat key on for that. And the other thing is for your open G, when you're just sitting on an open G, I like to plug these last 2 fingers down on my right hand. That does a couple of things. It lowers the pitch and also adds a little bit of body to the sound. So it's subtle, but for me on the interior, I feel just a bit more resistance, and that lets me blow harder, and that's what I want. Okay, 110 now. Now I'm going to throw these articulations in. Slur 2, tongue 2, tongue 1, slur 2, tongue 1, tongue 2, slur 2. Putting all of these slur 2, tongue 2 articulations together in a row with 3 iterations of this. So, without that first note, because we don't care. 1, 2. All right, taking the slurs off, going to 120, just doing the thing, trying to stay easy, trying to stay even as much as you can. This tempo is going to get elevated here. Ready? 1, 2. Close, trying to straighten a few things out before I have to do this. 140, same thing. Just trying to stay easy. This is our goal. 1, 2. Wait a minute. 1, 2. Yeah. I suppose that I could open up one of these Ds could be open here, but I'm really trying in these scales to not use any fake fingerings. I don't know why necessarily that is. I don't know that that's actually what I should be doing, but my brain says that's what I should be doing. It makes sense to me. I'm trying to be as pure as possible. If that makes sense. It does to me. It does to me. All right, let's go on to the next interrupted scale. It's the same thing where we want to be thinking. That's how you get evenness, not pounding away at the downbeat, going to the next downbeat. All right, here we go. Back to 100, subdivision on. So we're doing this. Okay, 120. I feel pretty good about that on the whole. Subdivision off at 120. Same thing, keeping it easy, trying to keep it even. 1, 2. Not bad. Here's our goal, 140. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that's plenty fast, right? Which is cool. I like that. It makes me feel good. But what makes me feel really good is the fact that every note inside those 6/8 notes, it's pretty much exactly where it's supposed to be, which is what I've been working for this whole time. Let's do that again. 1, 2. Good. I say decent for myself. I give myself a solid B+. All right. Thirds. I'm going to disregard the articulation because I've already taken care of that work up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the repeat, take a breath, take the repeat. That's the iteration. 100, 120, 140 for my goal. So here's 100 with the subdivision on. Keeping it even. Like, this is the most important, to try to keep it. That's how you get even. 1, 2. All right, here we are, 120. Subdivision off, please. Back to the regular beat. Trying to keep it just as even. Just as even. Yeah, clearly that turnaround at the top is a little difficult. This, so I figured this F sharp and G, I just go to this side. I'm not really like looking to make my life any more complicated than it has to be at this tempo. Let's finish this bad boy off. This will be challenging, especially the second half at 140. This is our goal. Let's see if we can really just tag this and be done. One. Too bad. I'm not going to kill myself over that because it ain't that important. It's pretty close. If I was to work on this for a concerto, then I would probably spend more time. But as it is, I have tomorrow again to look at this at 140. I give myself a solid B on all of that. I'm going to swab out, wet my reed, take a quick pee break, and then I'm going to move on to what I'm going to show you right here, which is where I'm going next, which is Kroepsch. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There we go. 2 seconds. I'll be right back. So, thanks for sticking around. All right. So for the other stuff, the scale work that I was doing, I don't use my music at all. I really think it's important for you, certainly important for me, to know my instrument well enough to not worry about it, to not worry about looking at the notes. So, these are probably the most important, besides the scales, which are obviously, I think, is important, or I wouldn't do it every day, but these are really what I'm looking for. These are Fritz Kroepsch, very old-fashioned exercises, but they're my secret weapon. Not so secret, maybe. I believe that if you play these every day, you will be 20 times the clarinet player or musician that you were a month later than you were but when you started. So let me demonstrate why. First of all, how do you work on these? Well, this is the Harold Wright method. You stick your metronome on one, in this case 60, one tempo, and just play. I don't move tempos in between. We start out with 16th notes, which is quite slow, move into all of this, and then move into all of this. So it moves from quite reasonable to quite difficult within the same tempo. So for these first ones that are 16th notes and slower and theoretically more simple, I'm really looking for the most legato, the most sweet ringing. I want to play these like I was playing an orchestral excerpt for a committee. Okay, starting with number 27. Each one of these gets performed 4 times, and then you finish with the final bar. Okay. Yeah, and at this tempo, very broad staccato articulation. Remember, staccato means separated, it doesn't mean short. So at this tempo, not too short. Super legato here, long intervals, really trying to keep as legato in these larger intervals as I am in the smaller ones. Number 28. E flat. Same thing, 29. Man, that feels so simple. It sounds so simple. And it is on some level, but man, am I thinking hard. I'm really like, I have full concentration and full, I'm in a constant state of self-awareness and self-evaluation. I'm not beating myself up, but I'm like, is this as good as it can be? Can you make this, how was that? Not bad. How was this? Not bad. 29. Dude, if you can make these sound beautiful, then you can make Beethoven sound beautiful. If you can make these sound beautiful, then you can make Brahms sound the way that it's supposed to. It's exactly the same stuff. Okay, for this exercise, again, number 30, I'm not looking for short lists, I'm looking for separation, and these notes are an octave apart. So they're going to be separated anyway, so don't worry about going too short. G is, again, 1 and 3, 1 and 2 with the E flat key. F sharp in this one, the high F sharp, I'm going to go long. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and the E flat key. Damn, this is a good F sharp fingering. Now, in real life, I add this D flat key, which makes it a little bit flatter and a little bit more mellow. If I were to sustain an F sharp, then that's what I would use, but I'm not. I'm just going to use this and this. Okay, number 30. Take it easy, nice and easy. See, they just kind of pop out without any effort, and then they kind of, you don't want those notes to exist outside of the context of what you're doing, right? You don't want, just take it as a matter of course. It's another note. You know how to play it. Make it fit within the phrase without a big problem. Ah. And there's that open G with these bottom two fingers again, okay? Open G with those two fingers makes a big difference. Especially in how much, like, really big, fat air I'm able to throw at that note. It makes that note feel not so throat tony. All right, now we're moving into a slightly faster subdivision. Sextuplets instead of 16th, same thing, keeping it easy within the tempo, dragging the tempo slightly if I can, never rushing if I can. Two. Yes, I know I played a C natural there. The Western version of this exercise has a C natural in that second line, but I like it a little bit better, actually. All right. Here's the only time I'll put on a subdivision today for this. Number 33. And this one moves out a little bit at this tempo, so let's just try to keep it under control and try to just make it happen. Not bad. There we are, back in the eighth note subdivision again. Number 34. 2, 3. Yeah, man, I love these because they work on all of these little things that actually show up in Weber and in Brahms and Mozart and Beethoven. All of these half-step differences, all these little uh, chromatic differences that show up in this kind of stuff. Speaking of which, yeah, number 35 deals with all of that shite. Just kind of give it a once-over, under tempo. One. 36. A little D7 action. This one is completely relevant to the Mozart Clarinet Concerto. I'll do this one two different ways, number 37. I'm going to articulate the first two notes, bop beep, because that's what's in the Western version, and then I'll do, this is Russian, this version of it. So I'll do the first two iterations like I usually do, and then the second one is printed here. Yeah, much more difficult that way. But really make sure that you get your thumb and your register key sort of in the right spot. Number 38. We are almost at the end of our long national nightmare. Here we go. 38. Oh yeah. Before we get to it, this measure here with this low F sharp, I'm going to go left side with the F sharp, and then for the D sharp fingering, I'm going to use 1, 2, and just the third here, and this key. So you get. It's a pretty easy switch. 38. And All right, so here's another one of our really difficult ones at this tempo. Again, I'm going to look at this slightly under, and then I'm going to go for it. Yeah, only fake fingering I use in this entire bit is right here. This entire 2 pages. That's the only fake finger I use, which is I use the open G, open D. So, okay, 2 and not bad. So that's just that's my most sort of like fast ass routine. It took me 50 minutes and 8 seconds with talking. 40 to 45 minutes without talking to solidify your clarinet playing and when playing and whatever instrument you play in the most devastating fashion. You'll be almost bulletproof. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for sticking by. I appreciate it.